G'day all, Darwin45 here. Today, I'm going to be doing something a bit different and kind of out of my element. Now, I do like my share of Call of Duty, but I'm not that person who stays up and plays like 75 hours in one night. I take my Call of Duty like I take cereal. I eat it with some level of maturity as much as I would like gobble down that bowl of Lucky Charms. Oh, believe me, would I like to do that, but I'm not one of those people. So, anyway, I'm going to be presenting 7 tips from my point of view on how to become decent at COD. This is mainly focused towards people who are looking to level up quickly and have a good time playing these games whilst becoming moderately good at shooting other people. Note, I did not suggest how to become like an MLG sniper pro. And I also like to point out that I am somewhat of a decent player, but this is just me personally. I'm not this MLG master or a pro or anything like that. I'm not even at the prestige level yet. And there you go. See, I already died. Anyway, let's get this started. Okay, so tip number 1, always be aware of your surroundings. This is the one thing that leads to 90% of all deaths on COD. And it's the one thing that most players have not developed all the way. Of course, no one is that good at spotting a bouncy Betty a mile away unless you have engineer equipped. And let's be honest, not a lot of people actually do that from what I've been able to gather. I put this particular tip on here because as you're running and gunning, you're not going to be able to react to that bouncing Betty that's like right there that showed up the fuck out of nowhere, or the guy who you didn't realize is shooting at you from behind, or the claymore that just went off, and you end up dying. This is something that COD players like Driftor have mastered because of the amount of time he spends on Black Ops 2. But not only that, but he's also developed the senses to be able to spot passing players and things to know that he's going to be walking into an ambush. So, to build on this idea, as the great Sam Fisher once said, and I quote, "Travel light, conserve ammunition, and above all, keep moving, because you won't know if you're in a bad situation until you've stopped in one." Okay, tip number 2. Don't be afraid to study the map and learn about potential ambush routes. Now, most maps have back alleyways that come out behind any position, or back routes, and so use this to your advantage as much as possible. And don't be afraid to go into offline mode and just run around the map on unlimited time and taking note of all the different routes for potential ambushes and great hiding spots if your goal is to hide and stalk enemy players. Okay, so the next tip is teamwork, especially on objective-based gameplay. I cannot stress this enough, guys. I've played several modes where my team lost because somebody wanted to try going solo only for him to be like demolished. I've lost 10 domination and hardpoint games because of this. Not to mention, being quickscope does not help either. It's basically the same principle in team deathmatch. Travel in wolf packs, never go off on your own, and most of all, expect the enemy to know your whereabouts at all times. Because you won't know if he spotted you until he hits you and it's already too late and you're dead. But keep an eye out for the announcer saying like, oh, they have a UAV. Oh, good. So now you know that they're going to be aware of where you are. So you basically just say, okay, so how do I defend myself against that? Anyway, tip number 4, don't try and experiment with different weapons, but avoiding appealing ones if you can help it. A lot of the players I see online carry snipers. I get it. The sniper class is appealing to a lot of people, but to me, it really isn't. And I'll tell you why. Honestly, it's because of 2 things. First of all, the fact that every hacker and modder I've seen carries a sniper rifle as their hacking weapon. They don't do it with assault rifles or shotguns or even pistols. And 2, I've tried to quickscope myself offline, of course, and my hit marker, or my wherever my shot's going, it's always 5 centimeters off to the left or right of where I'm actually supposed to be hitting, and it's not appealing to me. So anyway, the best advice I can give for this particular tip is don't be afraid to try different weapons. Like, don't be afraid to try like SMGs if you're used to assault rifles. Just don't over specialize, because there is a lot of people that tend to specialize in one weapon and they end up overextending themselves, or however that saying goes. And I'm not trying to stop you from using a sniper rifle or anything, but I'm just warning you of the appeal that often leads to overconfidence and a lack of basic humanity, which leads me into my next point. Tip number 5. Trolls, squeakers, and 12-year-old noobs. If for some reason you're like me and you can't stand 12-year-olds screaming to their mic, not to worry. There are a couple ways to deal with this little issue. Well, first of all, it's called muting them. As immature as this seems, I found personally that muting squeakers, and overall anyone who doesn't have any nice things to say to me, really helps me concentrate on my game. And, well, without their annoyingness to get in the way, you can really have that good game, that awesome experience, and you can focus on having a lot of fun if you, A, mute anyone who you constantly say to yourself, oh my god, somebody shut this guy up please. B, don't use your headset if you have one, or mute your TV so you can't hear them. Another thing I want to bring up is when a 12-year-old calls you out because your online name or calls you anything offensive, you just simply ignore them and don't give them any attention. This happened to me one time. When I started playing Black Ops 2 online, I got to level 10. I was really excited. I went into a team deathmatch lobby. My team went on hijacked and nuke camp. So this player calls me out and he says, hey, using shotguns are for noobs. You shouldn't be killing these chumps. Use a real gun. Use a sniper rifle. Of course, I didn't have a mic, so I couldn't respond. And even if I did, I wouldn't have responded anyway. And I wasn't really focused on him. I was focused on getting my team through to winning the match. Of course, his whole team threw him under the bus for calling them chumps and said, you know what? You go first. We'll cover you. Of course, we went underneath the ship on hijack, while he went on top. They all muted him somehow. Someone did something so they couldn't hear us. And both our teams had a really good conversation. It took him almost 10 minutes to find us. Eventually, it got to the point where he was just kicked out of the game overall, because apparently he was a hacker. I honestly don't know why, but it happened. So yeah, that's my little story about trolls. Alright, tip number 6. Customization is everything in COD, especially Black Ops 2. Now, when I say this, you can have the wackiest class setup ever, but as long as you believe it can work, then it will. Example, my best class so far is the PDW-57 with Reflex, Long Barrel, and Fast Mag. Most people would ask me, well, why aren't you using FMJ? Well, I tend to swap out Long Barrel and FMJ, but I also enjoy mixing it with shotguns. I was recently told that if I put a suppressor on a shotgun and played online, I'd be laughed at, but I see it all the time, though. I've tried it, and not one person called me out on it at one game I was playing, but yeah, it wasn't a very talkative lobby either, but it seemed to work. I did get a few kills out of it, but overall, I didn't find it very effective in the long term, so I got rid of it. And I had to redo my entire shotgun class. So, but, be wary of this. Even though you can customize however you please, there is a limit to how much you can put. This is referred to as usually as the pick 10 system. So it's important that you get what you want without having to sacrifice something. And as you can see from my gameplay, I carry concussions because I'm a big concussion person. And I like my grenades. I really like my grenades. I used to actually run with EMPs, and I would get killed a lot because of it. Yeah, so, and a lot of my personal experience with customization revolves around my personal preference and just trying things out, personally, for me. And finally, at tip number 7, your kill-death ratio is not everything in the game. A lot of people I've talked to over the past year have said that yes, your kill-death ratio determines your skill level. And I constantly say to them, no, it doesn't. It's just numbers. It has nothing to do with how good at the game you actually are. In order to become decent at a first-person shooter like COD, you have to understand that dying cheaply is perfectly normal. And sometimes your kills will be the result of luck or a good shot on your part. But overall, your job as a team player is to have fun and carry the team to victory through patience, determination, and above everything else mentioned, maturity. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe and all that, and I will see you in the next video. But before I sign off, I want to know, what advice would you give players who want to become decent at this game? Leave your comments leave your tips in the comments below and I'll check them out later. Anyway, I'll see you guys later. Adios.